All right, Queens, welcome back to Powerfully Her. In this episode, we're going to talk about mind reading. Yeah, mind reading. And how we think we can read people's thoughts when we can't. But we think as women sometimes, in being powerfully her, we can. But that's not true. More on the inside. Hey, Queens. I'm in the groove. Haven't recorded in a while, so I'm very excited. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back, Queens. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. I really do. I got my hands crossed. Hope you're doing well. I was so excited, as I'm always excited, to record and to pour into you and speak to you, that I always want to look my best and do my best, but I got some makeup on my shirt and I was just like, I don't care. We're still rolling. Oh, well. I'm not saying we shouldn't look our best, but I'm like, things happen, and I don't want to ever come off and ever perfection and just like, oh, this and that. And you have to be so manicured. Just be real. Be real. I'll tell you all, in times of AI, there's so many things that are so fake. It's enough we have to deal with people being fraudulent in real life. But now in the AI age, it's very hard to discern what is real and what is fake. So I think what we're all craving for is authenticity. We want people to be real. We don't want perfection, because there is no perfection, because perfection only lives with God. So it's important to show up and being real. It's important showing up like things happen. We can't act like it doesn't. So there are going to be some episodes where things just aren't edited well, and some episodes where I'll have makeup on my shirt or whatever it is. Things happen. And I want you to understand, and the correlation I'm making, Queen, for you, I want you to get from this, it's not about me, is that be authentically you, Queen. Be you. Show up real, show up honest, show up true, show up the beautiful woman that you are. Don't try to be perfect. Don't. And this episode is not about that. This will be an episode, God willing, one day. But this episode is not about that. But I don't want you to try to be perfect. Don't try to make something, give your best, give your all. Absolutely. But don't ever try to be perfect. Don't ever try to pretend something's not happening. Don't try to put that on you. Don't hold on to perfection, because it will hurt you. You want to do your best and be your best, but don't go after perfection, because you won't ever get it. You can't obtain perfection. Never. But what you can is witness God's perfection and how he created the landscapes in the world and how he made you perfectly made. How about that? Okay? But don't get stuck on that. So that's why I want you to come up real, raw, honest in you. And as you get older, flex your beautiful wings and soar to the queen that you are, being powerfully her. And this is me. This is me. I'm not going to pretend I like certain things that I don't like. I'm not going to pretend I want to go places I don't want to go, and I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? Be you. Use your voice. You have a powerful voice. Love who you are and know who you are. And at all, if you forget, I'm here. Okay? So now on to episode 39, which is the mind reader. So when I think about how I gather episodes, which the download God gives to me, is all because of him, alhamdulillah. And I just look at life, think God sends us so much to gain knowledge from. He's always teaching us, right? And when I'm learning is my own experiences, other people's experiences, I'm very observant. And I know we all are. We're all watching, right? Things I listen to, I just watch, and things to gain insight and experiences, just as us as women, for great content to move the needle in a way where you're growing, Queen, where you can work through everything you need to work through. Understand you're a work in progress, because we all are, but to understand the fact that we are all should be a student and to learn and how we can get better. Okay? So everywhere I'm looking for content and what's the best thing to do. And with my clients, just seeing what they're going through, what I've been through, what I'm able to teach them as long as well with you is how to help, and what I've been through and what I have triumphed over because of God, when with God, how things will get better. Okay? So this is why the episode The Mind Reader is so important, is because why I chose this is sometimes we think we know we can read people's minds. That's just the truth. And I know I'm guilty of it. I'm like, I know what you're thinking. I know what you're going to say. And it's stupidity, because you don't. You really don't. You don't. We don't. And if someone told me I know what you're thinking, like if you're in an argument and you're like, no, that's not what I was thinking, you get mad, right? We get irritated. So it's just like, why I thought of this is because recently I've gone through something, a series of events, and I was in that space of, I know what they're thinking, this and that. And I had to quickly stop myself. Remember, I used the skill of, right, letting go of what I thought was to be true. I had to let go of what I thought. I knew about what this person was going to say, or a bunch of people were going to say, or one person. It doesn't matter. I had to let go of thinking that I knew, because I don't. I don't, Queen. And none of us do. We don't know. So this is why I brought this up, because effective, and also being an effective communication coach, it's all the same umbrella for me, and how I teach it is we have to learn how to communicate effectively. And when you think you're a mind reader, you ain't thinking effectively. You're not operating effectively. You're not communicating effectively. You're not. Because if you are speaking to someone, and let's talk about someone you love. You're speaking to someone you love, and everybody, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that I don't do this and I don't do that and this and that. The person's like, I was not thinking that at all. So now the other person is getting mad because you accuse them of thinking of something. That person might, most likely, 99.999% was not thinking that. Even though their face might have said that they could have been, they weren't thinking it. And that could be a trigger also, like the face, especially if you have siblings, or, your spouse, or your significant other, partner, and you look and you're looking at their face and you're like, oh, I know what you think. You thinking that? And the person's like, no, I'm not thinking that. That person could just be tired. It's true. My daughter and I were watching White Chicks today, and in the beginning, when they had to remember, they had messed up the they thought there was the ice cream guys, and they thought they were the bad guys and things like that. And his wife, so silly, so immature, she wants to have I know it's a parody, but she wanted to have an argument with him. We just got it to work. Like, it's just those things. And that's something I teach my clients is sometimes, and as women, we got to be real, y'all. Women, as women, we think we're mind readers. We do. My male clients don't do that. They don't. I'm not saying they can't, but they don't do that. They don't. And we have to be honest. Listen, we're real and honest here. There are certain things as women we do that men don't do, and things that men do that we don't do. And that's what makes us different, but then beautiful at the same time. So we come together. But my husband doesn't do that. He doesn't know, I know what you're thinking. He hasn't ever said that to me. You know how many times I've said, I know what you're thinking? A lot. If I had a penny for every single time, well, actually, if I had $1 for every time I said that, you know how much money I'd have in the bank just off of that alone. Because I used to say that a lot. And these recent turn of events that have happened, I had to stop myself and be like, Nadira, wait a minute. No, you're wrong. No, you don't know what they're thinking. Now, I'm not saying what has happened, that person is wrong, or those people are not wrong, whatever has happened to you. I'm not saying those people who have hurt you are not wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying what transpired isn't wrong. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is we are not mind readers. We're not mind readers. So we can't move as if we can read someone's thoughts. We don't have telekinesis. We don't know. Only God knows. You don't know what someone's thinking. You don't. And to assume that you know what someone's thinking is just a breakdown of communication. It is. Because like I said, you accuse someone of thinking something that they didn't think, when, like I said, back to White Chicks, he was just tired and he's thinking something else, and he's just exhausted. Are you like, oh, you just thinking you don't want to be here? Yeah, I don't want to be here right now. I'm tired. But I don't want to be here because I'm tired and we're arguing. But what you're thinking isn't true, because you're thinking the worst. And that's the thing. See, the thing is when we think we're mind readers, we're always thinking the worst of the person that loves us thinks about us or the situation. That's what the problem is. That's what's happening. And why it's bad is because it's not about moving forward. It's as if we're enemies. It's as if we don't like each other, like we have a disdain for each other. Could be hatred. And we have to back up and be like, wait a minute, do I love this person? Does this person mean something to me? Then why am I doing that? You know? So this is why the whole mind reading thing is a woman thing. It is. We just got to be honest. It is. We have to stop doing that. Because if you want someone to respect what you have to say, you have to, number one, have self-control and discipline yourself and use that skill and that muscle to make sure that you are in control over what you're doing, not what the other person is doing. And you could speak on how they made you feel, how I feel, and base it off of what has transpired, the actions, which made you feel this way. That is a foundation. That is a stronger, not an argument, but that is stronger, and that's effective communication, as opposed to, I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. That person will be like, you know what I'm thinking? Like, I don't know why we're arguing. I love this person so much, and I wish they knew that. All that I've done this far doesn't show that I love you, and you're thinking this. And then that person's just going to get even more upset. That's going to even ignite the fire even more in the argument, just accusing that person of thinking something they're not thinking, and what you're mentioning is negative. That's not helpful, queens. And we got to work on that. No one can read anyone's mind. No one. No one. How many times have you created an argument? How many times have you created a war? I'm talking about World War III in your head for things about one person, multiple people, a place you're going, anything. How many times have you done that? A lot, right? Me too. You're thinking someone doesn't like you when they're thinking like, oh, you're just not talking to me. You maybe at work, you're thinking that they think worse things about you. And Russell's like, oh no, I want you to actually go for this job. You're thinking something else. All these things that are not true, as opposed to just speaking effectively. They say, hey, can we talk? Simple. Can we talk? Try not to get angry. Try to remain calm. And trust me, that takes work too, because I know. I'm a work in progress too. To calm yourself and just state how you feel and how it made you feel and the events that have happened that made you feel that way, that person has done. That's different. And know that whatever it is you want a positive result. Because if we go in with negativity, it's only going to blow up. That's just true. But we cannot think we're masters of mind reading. We're not. None of us are. None of us have a PhD, a EHD, a HDA, or whatever. None of us have any of those. None of that. I made up the last ones, but none of us have a doctorate in mind reading. We don't. So we have to stop pretending like we do. Truthfully, we got to stop doing it. We got to stop doing it. We got to stop thinking that we know how to read people's minds. We don't even know what the weather is going to be tomorrow. That's just projection. They don't know. How many times you go outside, they said it was going to be sunny today and it rains all day. Because God was like, I wanted it to rain. I'll switch it up whenever I want. And you're like, well, told you he's in control, right? They don't know. They don't know. So if it's a projection, the weather, we say weather projection, they're projecting what could potentially be. It's not 100%. So if that's the weather, we're talking about the weather. How in the world do you know what someone's thinking? You don't. You don't. So this is why we have to start doing the work on ourselves first. Because when you do the work on you, whomever you're talking to will hopefully respond based on how you are. You try not to, and I'm definitely that meet you with the same energy you meet me, but that's not the best all the time. It's not. Because if someone's on 1,000, me being on 1,000, or Queen, you being on 1,000, is that helping the situation? Now it's an explosion. It's like, as opposed to, all right, I'm just either A, be quiet or walk away because the situation's already heightened. This is not helping. But understanding the things that we need to work on. So we get ourselves there, Queen, to get ourselves there. So if that person hopefully sees you moving in a way where you're cool, calm, and collected, when they're on 1,000, you're just looking and you're like, are you done? You're like, yeah, I'm done. You're like, okay. So that was a lot, but this is where I'm at. And you can list a boom, 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 bullet points. And just wrap it up with, this is how you made me feel. Okay? And a person will hopefully take it, if they care about you, in a way where like, Okay. All right. This person could be coming to me tight with a lot of aggression. They could be coming at me sideways, but they're cool, calm, and collected. I need to bring it down. And you could show me like, look how my demeanor is and your demeanor is. I'm upset too, but I'm just not going about it the same way. But you're going by what's happening as opposed to, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking this and you're thinking that. Mm-mm. And I was raised to always be on just stating facts and what's actually happening, right? The facts. And yes, state the emotions. Yes, state how you feel, of course. But just to conduct yourself in a way where you're being heard, where you're getting a positive result. Because you want this fighting to continue? Like, do you want what's happening to continue? Because if you do, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. A lot of work that needs to be done. So this is why it's very important, queens, that we do the work on ourselves first. Before we go in guns blazing about somebody else, we have to look at ourselves first. And I'm trying to do that. Nadira, do the work. Do the work. I'm guilty of a lot of things in an argument, doing things, saying things I shouldn't be saying, losing my cool, all of that. But I'm human. We are. Give yourself grace for that, queen. But let's just learn from it. Because I know how I moved 5-10 years ago. I don't want to move like that. I don't. And they're big things I want. So why in the world am I going to continue to move like that? You have to get something different in a positive way. You have to do things different in a positive way. If you want certain things, you got to do certain things to do it the right way that God wants you to do it, which means you have to become the queen you truly are. Activate those parts of yourself to be her so you can hold it. You can hold what God has for you. Because if we're doing things the same way, we are not ready for her. Okay? We're not ready for our true selves yet because we are still doing things in the past that are not working for us. AKA one of them being mind reading. Okay? Mind reading. And I know it could be like, that's not that big of a deal. It can be. It can be because you just internally could be starting a war for yourself, thinking you know what other people are thinking. And now you're thinking negative things about those people that you shouldn't be. It's enough that we are already warring with a part of ourselves and the devil to have us have negative thoughts in our mind already, constantly. So if we already have that playing in our mind, if we give it power to, thinking negative about other people that we shouldn't be thinking negative about isn't helping the situation. But how can we turn that around, queen? Number one, gratitude. When those negative thoughts, because mind reading is a negative thought. It is, because what you're thinking about that person is negative. You think you're thinking they're thinking something negative. That's negativity. That's not good. That's the opposite of good, right? So that's not helpful. So replace that with the good things that person has done for you. Not just in life, for you, because they'd be different. Because you could have some people like, oh my God, this person cured tuberculosis. That's great. But that person's also an abuser. So they can cure tuberculosis, but their whole family hates them because they're horrible. So that's the difference. That's something you need to know the difference about, queen. What has that person, the good things that person has done for you? For you, queen, what have they done for you? And you remember that. So before you have a sit down with someone, a heavy conversation or something that there was an argument and you really need to get something off your chest with that person, you guys have to clear the air and allow communication and love to prevail. Before you go into that, think about the lovely, sweet, loving things that person has done for you. Think about that. Let that be your positive thought, not being a mind reader, which is negativity. Think about the positive ways that person has showed up for you. And when you get into that sit down, that's what you're thinking of. This person really showed up for me. Talk positivity when you speak. Whoever wants to talk first, cool. But as long as there's love and respect there. But when we come from that place, it makes things so much different and better and lighter. As opposed to thinking that this person here hates my guts and I have to think negative things about them. And I know they're thinking negative things about me. It's not helpful. And then to say it, because trust and believe, the thought's going to come. Oh, I know what they're thinking. Don't repeat it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. It's just going to ignite things even more. Don't say it. Replace it with the gratitude. Replace it that I'm grateful that this person that showed up for me. And that's what you think about when you come sit with that person. The good times. And you could even reference that. I remember when you showed up for me. I remember you did this and that. I missed that portion of our relationship. I want that back. You see the positivity? You see? I also have to, I still have to address the fact how you made me feel. But at least you led with love as opposed to, I know what you're thinking. And when it comes to men aren't talking that much anyway. So they're like, I wasn't even thinking that. I was just hungry and tired. And most of them just like, babe, I was just hoping, I don't want us to be beef anymore because I want us to be intimate. That could be another thing. Like, come on, y'all. Like, we got to be real. We got to be straight up honest. It's like, babe, I don't want us to be arguing like that. I want to love you and make love to you. You really think that's what I'm thinking? I don't want to, and all this argument, a man's not going to sit up there and have all these conversations with thinking, am I reading with women anyway, with us anyway? They don't. Understanding that we're different. And our differences are what makes us beautiful. But understand the things that you need to work on, Queen. Okay? So the number one way you can stop being a mind reader is replace it with gratitude. And when those negative thoughts come, you replace it with gratitude. And especially someone you love, you replace it with gratitude. And if you have to sit down with that person and you have to address the things that are happening with the two of you or multiple of you, whatever, replace it with gratitude. Replace it with gratitude. And one-on-one, I advise all my clients to do everything one-on-one. You got something to say to someone, do it one-on-one. You don't want to have everybody there because it just heightens things. Sometimes it does. Most times it does. Doesn't always, but my methods is that it's one-on-one is best because you can get through the person one-on-one. It's more intimate one-on-one. When it's a lot of people, it's not as intimate. It's not. This is why I love making one-on-one. One-on-one intimacy. That's how God designed it. One-on-one intimacy. I see you, you see me. I feel you, you feel me. Queens, we could do it. And as women, we are master communicators, but we don't want it to be we're the ones that we're just talking all the time, just talk. No, substance. My dad was big on that substance. Where's your substance? Your presence, substance, not just drivel, words, constant. No. Don't be that. And that's not you. And queens speak power. So let's go. That's not you anyway. So I already know that's not you. But don't be the cliche of what the world tells of who a woman is. No, you be who God says you are, and you move the way God wants you to move. And that's the power and sensuality and beauty and essence and luxury and grace and elegance, okay? And intelligence, okay? So don't forget that, Queen. So moving forward, let's start doing that. Stop thinking we have a PhD in mind reading and do the work on us. And let's see, little by little, things start to turn around. As always, queens, greatness, you come from greatness. Greatness lives in you, and you're much more powerful than you know. And forever forward, never backwards. And just as important as all those three, it has to be. All right, queens. See you, God willing, episode 40. Bye.